You all know I am a die-hard horror fan, but even I was too afraid to watch The Black Phone. There's just something about children being haunted in horror movies that just rubs me the wrong way. Then I thought to myself, well, you watched Nosferatu, and that movie had a very graphic vampire scene. True. So I did it. I watched the movie, and guess what? I was completely blown away. I later found out that Stephen King's son, Joe Hill, wrote the short story that The Black Phone was based on. Suddenly it all made sense. The grabber's creepy mask, the 1970s vintage feel, the old schoolyard brawls, and the sassy preteens with potty mouths.
Yeah, I took him down because obviously I'm the grabber, you dumb fuckers.
Gwendolyn Blake!
It brought back all these feelings of nostalgia from my youth. I mean, they really don't make movies like this anymore. However, what really got me going was the parallels between The Black Phone and Nosferatu. Both movies were about monsters terrorizing a town. There goes the neighborhood. Both movies were about the protagonists suppressing their psychic gifts and abilities. And both movies were about slaying the monsters that we subconsciously create. So if you're a fan of psychic ghost stories, neighborhood serial killers, and vampires, you're going to want to watch this video. Please stay tuned.
It doesn't work. Not since I was a kid. Hang it up.
There's one thing that almost every haunted house movie has in common. There is a hidden room or a sacred chamber or a dark and dank basement where a whole bunch of bodies are buried. The reason for this is that these secret rooms represent the chambers of our subconscious and conscious mind. Yes, in our subconscious mind, there are haunted compartments. There are fears and memories and emotions that we have buried deep within ourselves. This is especially true for those of us who have experienced significant trauma. In many cases, we can't comprehend the severity of it, so the pain takes root and manifests as evil. That's the reason why The Black Phone was set in Colorado in the 1970s. There weren't too many people going and sitting on a therapist's couch. In short, there was no one around to help people deal with their mental issues. In Nosferatu, mainstream religion was the baseline and blueprint for any concern or affliction, and pagan remedies were simply dismissed as silly superstitions. However, it is important to understand that in good horror movies, the protagonist and the antagonist are pretty much the same, but in reverse. Another way of saying this is that the monster, the hideous vampire, or the ghoul is the protagonist's worst nightmare unrealized. However, they do share a common thread. In The Black Phone, Finney and the Grabber both had issues with power. Finney couldn't stand up to his dad or the bullies that chased him home from school, and the Grabber needed to drag people into his twisted, haunted world to gain a sense of power. Now, if Finney never faced his fears and pushed all that trauma inward into his subconscious mind, he could have grown up to be as monstrous and as perverse as the Grabber.
You're gonna have to stand up for yourself one of these days.
In Nosferatu, Ellen's loneliness caused her to seek the company of a beast that suffered from the same pangs of loneliness and suppressed desires that she too suffered from. Now, supporting characters in horror movies are there, well, to support. Their job is not only push the narrative forward, but to help the main character understand their plot and purpose. In The Black Phone, it was the ghost boys from Finney and the Grabber's past who rang the Black Phone. All five of them gave Finney helpful tips and advice needed for his escape. And Nosferatu was Thomas's love that helped Ellen break free from the lust spell between her and that soul-sucking beast. In addition, Professor Eberhard helped Ellen understand her connection to the supernatural world, aiding her in breaking the psychic bond between her and Nosferatu. Now, speaking of the supernatural world and psychic bonds, they both come into play in Nosferatu and in The Black Phone.
The young creature is possessed of some spirit. Perhaps a demon. I beg your pardon?
Gwen, Finney's sister, had supernatural abilities, and sadly, her father tried to beat these abilities out of her.
Listen to me. You are not your mother.
I know.
That means you do not hear things that are not there. You do not see things that are not there.
Okay!
And Ellen was drugged and chained because the doctors didn't have a real understanding of her abilities, or in their view, her sicknesses. Ellen then pushes all of these emotions deeper into the recesses of her subconscious mind. As a result, Nosferatu grows more powerful, punishing her friends and loved ones in the process. Gwen begins to doubt herself and can't foresee her brother Finney being taken by the grabber. Ellen seems to be a lost cause until Professor Applehart steps in and informs her of her power, her real power.
We must know evil to be able to destroy it. We must discover it within ourselves. And when we have, we must crucify the evil within us, or there is no salvation.
I need no salvation.
Gwen is able to overcome her doubts after convincing her father that her dreams were indeed real. Gwen understands that she wasn't like her mother and that her abilities could be used to actually help people. Both characters experience major transformations only after confronting their deepest and darkest fears. But sadly, the grabber is someone who never confronts his doubts, never confronts his pain, never confronts his fears. He has pushed all those emotions deep into a subconscious compartment that can no longer be accessed.
Which reminds me, Sivas, you must introduce me to your madman tomorrow.
Yes, of course.
Like Gwen's mother, he hears voices that tell him to do awful things. His mind had become splintered, and as a result, he takes on different personalities with a mask as a marker for each one.
And she just became so convinced that her dreams meant something, and eventually they told her to do things. Terrible thing.
Nosferatu is a beast who has no soul. As a result, he can never access the light. This means that he too no longer has any control over his subconscious mind. As a result, he is consumed by his own lust and hunger for blood and power. Now, the one thing I love about Nosferatu and the Black Phone was the power of ritual. Ellen was a high priestess and gained control of the beast only when she accepted all parts of herself. After speaking to all 5 ghost boys, Finney was able to put together the pieces to take down the grabber for good.
Did the phone ring for you?
It rang, but none of us heard it. Just you.
This is the power of ritual. Each step needs to be completed to advance to the next level. Nosferatu bonded with Ellen in her early years. However, he needed Thomas to sign the contract. He needed Ellen to come to him freely. It was all part of the ritual.
Just to look at you. I just wanted to look at you.
The grabber's steps were marked by a mask, a blank mask for the greeting, a creepy smile mask for observation, and an angry mask for the naughty boy phase. Ellen's rituals continued with the understanding of the deeper meanings of the occult, ending with a sacrifice. Finney was able to use the rope, the phone, his arm, and the meat to take down the grabber for good. Ellen's self-sacrifice resulted in saving the town of Westburg from an impending plague brought on by Nosferatu, of course. And Finney was able to break the cycle by killing the grabber, ensuring that no other boys would be taken. Both characters are revered as heroes. Both characters overcame their doubts and fears. And both characters were able to destroy the monsters that had imprisoned them. So what do you think about Nosferatu? What do you think about the Black Phone? Please sound off in the comments below.